Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 14 of the House Holocrons podcast. So of course, as the description does say, we're going to be going over the most recent episode of Andor. It was an absolute banger, really awesome. Uh, but also, I think we're going to kind of compare it to like the state of things and how we feel things are flowing and progressing with Star Wars today versus what Star Wars started with. You know, just kind of like a state of affairs to me. Like we can just kind of just have a nice general topic because Andor has really, I think, brought a lot more light and positivity into the Star Wars community because it is like one of the first shows to really be like, oh, there is no lightsabers, there's no Jedi, and the like blaster fights are like very far and few between. There's a lot more intrigue and dialogue, especially in like this prison stuff that's going on now. Which and it's good. It's good writing. Like that's all they needed. Like we've always just been saying, just get good writing, and Star Wars will be good. You know, so,
It's definitely a different series than anything we've had before,
yeah,
and it's not a bad thing.
no,
Um, it's probably the most down to earth we've ever had in a Star Wars show,
mm-hmm.
and it's not bad down to earth.
Yeah, I can really agree with that one.
Because that's one thing I liked about this episode is it gave me a chance to kind of like think because you get to see a lot of the how the things are affecting
Mm-hmm.
um the characters, which we
Yeah.
don't typically see. Um, I actually watched a short podcast earlier, and they were comparing a fan favorite, which is the Book of Boba Fett, in this one,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
why that one is kind of picked up more. And it's I guess a lot of their saying is because um the familiarity of characters,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's easier to pick up on that because a lot of people that are Star Wars fans it's like, oh, it's Boba Fett, and I want to see what happened to him. Whereas in this one, not many people are familiar with Cassian. So,
Right.
and this time frame it hasn't really been too charted outside of novels
Ooh,
and
Uncharted.
comics. But it's been a good thing. It feels more mature, but in a good
mm-hmm.
way. Um, we're no longer getting these flashy, um, quick in your face moments where
Yeah.
it's almost like because we get like Book of Boba Fett. It's a good example of that because at the end of it we get Boba Fett on a Rancor.
Mm-hmm.
We get everybody's we get people dying and they're still fighting. With um, uh, Black
Chrysanthemum. Yeah, Black Chrysanthemum.
Chrysanthemum, and we get some cool epic moments with that. And I don't hate it. It just sometimes it feels like they're just throwing stuff in their face,
Mm-hmm.
like we're all Star Wars fans are like two dimensional
Oh
and
yeah.
so it's nice that we get something in a lot more in depth and a lot more serious, and it's done right. We have actually it feels like we got real serious writers on here for once.
Right.
Um,
I would totally agree with that. I think this show has really brought into a lot of people's view what like the Star Wars day to day is. What like is just these aren't heroes; these are just people, and that is something that was even seen in the original movies because we've always been following the hero story and the hero's tale, the Skywalkers and this family saga. But now we're literally just talking about people that can get shot by any normal blaster bolt. A stormtrooper is dangerous. Like it's not the end of everything because they're still going to kind of miss, but it's still
but
deadly.
we also see the effects of normal people being affected by the actions of the heroes.
Yeah,
We see what happens when they raid the vault, how it actually makes everything worse for just innocent people.
Yeah.
So we don't normally get to see stuff like that. We don't
and yet it
normally
was planned.
see.
That's even the like I wouldn't say worst part of it, but the rebellion is not free of sin
Yeah,
because they meant for that to happen. Like Luthen is like, no, good. Make the harder they press, the more rebellion there is.
Yeah, the more restrictions you put on people because of something getting stolen, the easier it's going to be to convince people to join the rebellion.
Mm-hmm.
and the only time we've ever seen anything remotely to, um, basically not only toll to like damage from being hurt, but also mental. health. You
Oh
see it affected in the
wow,
characters.
dude. Yeah, can we like
We see it a little bit in the Clone Wars, though,
right?
because there's a lot, but not this far in depth. We see
Yeah, because I mean, okay,
and
so in
how
Andor, so some spoilers and stuff. Man, that was brutal.
It was a good episode.
It was a
It
good
was one of the best
episode.
episodes in my opinion.
Deidre is an evil, conniving, perfect Imperial.
I'm telling you, I didn't think she was gonna turn before. I don't see it.
No, I don't know. I think she's gonna stay with the Empire and be a bad,
Yeah,
bad
she
evil
enjoys
person.
it way too
But
much.
the torture
Mm-hmm.
that happened with Bix and like the person before her.
But the good thing about her characters too is you get that sense of that she's almost an imperfect Imperial, but we still
Mm,
get more in depth with her. We still get, you see doubts on her face.
yeah,
You see sometimes, this, like I said, this is the most three-dimensional. Sorry, it's
you're fine.
three-dimensional we've ever gotten with characters before.
I would say any doubt I see on her face is that she's gonna lose her position.
I
Or if
mean,
she wants to kill Cyril or not.
that's the problem with being an Imperial officer is you show too much weakness, another
Mhm.
officer's gonna just walk all over you and you're gone.
Right. It's been a very refreshing take, but I did not expect. Like I was like, oh, it's the sounds of battle and people dying, cool. And then like, oh, but we found this one little clip that we're all kids. I was like, oh, damn. Whoa.
Yeah, it's different
Dude, it
because
would mess me.
And then they
up.
don't let you
because
hear it.
we've had torture before. Like
Mm.
we've seen Empire torture
I mean, we
Leia.
saw
The
it
big, yeah, the chair,
Seen.
yeah, the
We
chairs.
don't really get to actually see it.
Right, we have the droids like that. We've seen these interrogation devices, but
They
that
always
was
cut either right
yeah.
before or right after.
And you just hear like a scream from a hallway. But this, it was the same effect where like you saw her suffering, and then door closes, there's a scream. But this was different.
I think the best impact of it, because typically when shows and movies do this kind of scenario where they just like this crazy noise that's going to really upset you, they typically play a sound on the video so you get like a taste of what they're experiencing, like a high pitched noise.
The
But I think the
silence.
I think the best way that we can, the best like chilling feeling to that is we didn't hear anything.
Yeah.
We just got to see her reaction to it.
Right, her grimacing, horrible face and the screaming, but we heard absolutely nothing, which was perfect. It really was like the ultimate way, because then it's kind of like when you read a book, how a book is so much more perfect to its readers because they imagine it. So to every single human that watched that show, we all had a different idea in that very moment of what that was.
Well, and like I said, I've seen some of these movies and stuff, and I was expecting that typical trope, but they were going to play this high pitched ringing noise that's going to be mildly irritating, so we get a little taste of what she's experiencing, and we don't. And yeah, that now we all know what that probably might sound like.
Yeah, that was stellar and gnarly. Again, Deidre is super great Imperial, but Cyril, I really don't know why she didn't kill him. I thought she was gonna kill that guy.
You pointed it out though at the end. When we were watching it, she was moments. Was it you said she had like No, not infatuation. An admiration.
Yeah, she was enjoying the admiration because it's like what other like when he grabbed her, I was 100% expecting her to literally just shoot him. Yeah, just like right there.
Well, that shows you that, like I said, she's not a one-dimensional character.
Yeah, exactly.
Point. That there's some, she has doubts. She's starting to think, because of your typical, generic Imperial officer would either ask for stormtroopers to arrest them, pull out a blast and shoot them, backhand them, and she had a moment of, she was confused. She didn't know what to do, and she almost like she kind of wanted to say, "Hey, okay." But she knows she can't because the first time she does that, she'll get in trouble.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't know if hiring him for the ISB would be a good thing because he's kind of off hinged.
Yeah.
Which
that's nuts.
That's another thing. Something about the mental health. You see his spiral.
Right. He blames all of this on Cassian.
I think he would be a good tool until they find Cassian.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna let him go.
He's more like a bounty hunter.
This episode did really well along with the parallels where they go back and forth. They show basically everyone's in their own prison, their own spiral. Honestly, it's kind of funny that the only one with the most hope in this instance right now. It almost feels like it was Cassian.
Oh,
Like
right.
he's the one in the worst situation.
Yeah. But it's like it seems to be coming around a lot more. At least that's something we can give it. It's not entirely hopeless anymore. I've been honestly really enjoying this jail scene stuff. Of course, all hands to
Oh, I can't remember his name right
yeah,
now.
the second I Andy
You talking about Andy
Serkis.
Serkis?
He
Yeah.
deserves a award for this role
It
alone.
was so good. He did so good.
I now know why
What
they
they did
cast
with the
him,
old
because
man.
they need that close-up
Oh,
face
yeah.
shot and to see the emotions run across his face.
I was expecting Olaf to lose a hand in the middle of like the machinery
dude,
work.
Right?
I was expecting like
Yes.
just
Well, the cool thing is how they used Olaf to kind of show how, kind of a,
Yeah.
like a real, and that's how, the Andy Serkis character saw it, is how they really were treating him. Basically treating them like animals, pack
Right.
mules, because they're just minimum food, sleep, everything, and then if they get hurt, they bring in another prisoner to take care of them,
Yeah.
and then if it's beyond repair, they just put them down. They
Right.
don't bring out back to tanks. They don't bring out medic droids.
Because it
Like
was
we've
a
seen
massive
it.
stroke, but with enough care, in our world we can bring people back from
I
that.
mean, in that one they can too.
Yeah,
if you're
they
not
just
in
they don't
prison.
care about him. They just get him out of here.
Well,
He's just
they even
luggage
said it in
now.
that they're
But they
less or more cost effective than droids.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what Cassian told him. He said that's why they're using us. We're more cost effective than droids.
Yeah, and cheaper to replace.
Yeah, and well, you see that when we find out that they wiped out a whole block, a cell block.
Oh, yeah.
Which we find out later why they did that, because they didn't want the news to go out that they were basically recycling them instead of actually releasing them.
Which is exactly the
Spoiler
moment, and yeah, when the instead of releasing him, put him somewhere else. They killed the whole floor. The doctor tells the Andy Serkis' character this, and then that's when he has his big change, and that's the really cool part. And then what happens from there is finally Cassian has asked him now 3 times or twice how many guards on each level, and then on the 3rd time, it's when his character goes no more than 12.
I was expecting them to do the breakout in this episode, but I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad they are leading up to it instead of just we're doing it. We're just doing away, this quick plan. They're actually, it brings more motion to it, brings more story into it.
I
More
think they're
reason
still
now.
trying to tie in the other characters in some way because they're looking for him,
which we don't typically get to see. Unless unless we get the long series like Rebels or Clone Wars, we don't typically get to see that,
so
which is great.
I think what might happen, and this is just me like spitballing, they are gonna get out. Cassian and all the prisoners are gonna break out somehow. We know for sure him and the other guy, what's his name?
The other guy, Mural,
are going to be out
because he has to survive because he's in Rogue One,
right? And they'll get out, and then the other people that are looking for him will be like, "Oh, wait, we're here to rescue you? Okay."
So I think it's gonna happen in the breakout. I think something's gonna happen, and a lot of people are gonna get fried in the process.
Oh, I think a lot of people are gonna get fried. Yeah.
It's going with the theme of the show. Yeah, it's not gonna go perfect. They're gonna lose people, which we knew that in the heist, and we got confirmed. And of course, if once it's going to be the same situation with the heist. When they break out, they're going to start locking down prisons a lot harder. It's going to just be harsher sentences for everyone.
Yeah.
But I guess this is going to probably one of the final pushes that's going to push Cassian over. I mean, I'm sure it's definitely going to find out when he finds out that his friends are being tortured.
Right.
So I mean, if at this point, the hard part is, how is he going to join the rebellion when the rebellion wants him dead now? So gotta figure that one out.
Maybe because he can break out of a prison.
Because Luthen doesn't want him dead.
Yeah, Luthen doesn't.
Yeah.
That's going to be his saving grace. That's like his ace in the sleeves right now. Well, it's just that Luthen does not want him dead.
He's currently a pilot.
He's a good pilot.
He can... maybe
Luthen has one of those like, I see something in the boy.
Because he does. They're showing it very carefully. He is picking everything up. He knows the shifts. He knows everything else going on.
Yeah, anything someone misses, he's picked up.
It.
Yeah, he's a really really good viewer on everything. Yeah, tactician. That's a great way to put it.
I feel like he'd put Thrawn up for his money for
Cassian
a
and-
minute, for at least a little
Cassian
bit.
and Thrawn would be a fun fight, but Cassian has to be like jungle warfare.
Yeah.
He's gonna have a home route advantage
Mhm.
and like guerrilla tactics. But Thrawn is too genius.
He would give
Thrawn
him a
would honestly, in
challenge.
the end, for a little bit, no,
Yeah.
Thrawn would be like, "That's interesting," and then he would crush him.
Yeah.
Now that you bring up Thrawn, I think one thing that makes this series so great is when it's not relying on anything.
Yeah,
Yes.
true.
It's not relying on big characters. But I will say that will be an awesome ending to the series as you see in the ISB room as Thrawn walks in and it cuts.
Oh yeah,
I
that'd be
keep
so
waiting
amazing.
for it to him just
All they
show
have to do
up.
is because they could just show the white jacket and be like, okay, and then
Or
they
you
could
see
like,
you see,
well, they
All
could
we
show
have
they
to
could show the
see is,
signet
pans up
first
the-
because a few
it
people will
pans
know
up-
the signet.
no, it'll be pans up his uniform, right?
Yeah.
Just slow pan up, and then you just see a little bit of
Blue,
on the
right,
back
just a
of the-
little
Just
blue.
a tiny
And
little
it
bit.
cuts the
We don't even
credits.
need to see his chin,
That's-
just
yeah.
like tiny little bit, and we'll all lose it.
Oh, everyone would lose
Oh, I
it
wonder
entirely.
if after the prison breakout,
Yeah.
maybe that's when they're like, okay, we gotta call in the big guy.
Yeah.
So, that would be,
See, well, that's the thing, because like Thrawn does show up in occasion, but I think like Vader showed up first.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're gonna get Vader this soon. Didn't they say that he was
No.
gonna be in the series
No,
though?
I don't think we'll see him much because the
Okay.
most
I
we've been
don't
seeing is
think-
the
yeah.
the ISB. That's the only reason why I say Thrawn could be involved,
Right.
because the ISB portion.
And that's
Um,
why my vein of
yeah.
thinking, it's like Thrawn is ISB, so
it would make
he's going
sense
to
for
be in
him.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is very
But
true.
I-
That is
There's
very
no
true.
But I
lightsabers
feel like they want
involved.
to
It's
save him
very
for
low
Ahsoka,
level.
so I don't think they'll really show him in this series because, like I said, I think they really want to show him.
You
off
know,
in Ahsoka.
honestly, but it would be a great way to introduce the actor because this
Yeah.
is in timeline totally fine for him to be there still.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
yeah,
this could be. This doesn't have to be, or it doesn't even have to be the main actor they're using for Thrawn. It could be like a younger Thrawn because this is younger Thrawn.
That's why I said it would be best for them to tease him at the very end, and they're
Yeah.
like, okay, now we know what we're gonna expect, and we go
Right.
see.
Well, because in
Ahsoka's-
season 2 of Andor, we'll already have had Ahsoka season 1 come out. So
But yeah, the prison. Like I said, a lot of people are comparing it to George Lucas's first film.
Oh, yeah.
which is the THX movie. And a lot of people are suspecting it to end similar. To that, where they do escape the prison. Apparently, when they escape the prison in the first movie, I haven't actually watched it.
Oh, me either. I'm not a big
but they
fan
said
of
they
the
were
older
starting to
movies.
chase them. They're starting to like chase them, and they decided that it wasn't worth chasing them, and so
Oh,
they
yeah.
just let them go. So that's what I think is going to happen. Because
If only 2 of them make it, or like 3 of them make it, that makes sense. So like, it's
Yeah.
not worth it.
so many times that Cassian has shown that the Empire really doesn't think anyone would actually bother to do anything.
Right.
Like he says when he speaks out loud, they're not actually listening to us. They don't consider like that would be
Mhm.
something. And you could see that with the other people. Everybody's just so scared and just kind of following along.
100%.
even-
Yeah, they're terrified of the idea of being shocked to death. So they think it's like a supermax. When really it's like this is the most blue collar, small time
No, they-
prison.
Barely have any guards.
Yeah.
They most of the management's done by prisoners.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah,
and
there's
with
very
this kind of
few
system, you
staff.
can have an AI running a lot of it.
Yeah, the computer would do a lot of it. But they don't even have that many droids at this facility
Yeah, true.
because of the electronic floors.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it's a very human ran place with only humans in it. So I think he's definitely gonna get his hands on some of those boots, and that's gonna be the end of it for a lot of them.
What is that pipe that he's drilling or cutting into? What do you think that pipe is? It's
Some
some kind
utility
of
pipe
main
or
line
something.
to
Yeah.
something.
I was assuming that he was going to use it to either two things, either try to short the system where he's at, or use it to cause a leak and flood the floor, so they have to evacuate the prisoners.
So I'm thinking that maybe a flood. I can see that one, and that's
I-
the main
I-
reason
I-
because that's why him and that guy noticed that
Yeah.
the elevator shaft isn't electrified.
And I think that his original idea is that if he floods the place, they're going to try to evacuate, but I think they're
Mhm.
just going to lock the prisoners in there.
Oh yeah, they'll let them all die immediately. They're not gonna care.
I think it's going to have to be something with water because it's underwater.
It has to be
they're
a
gonna use
threat
that
to everybody. Like, it has to be a threat to a large group of them for them to really give that much of a care.
Definitely.
But this series has proved me wrong on a lot of things. They've
Mm-hmm.
they've done things a lot differently.
That is one thing
Especially
I'm
for not
loving.
only for Star Wars, but not for yeah. It's a lot of it's been so
Well, and
unexpected, but it's
yeah,
been good.
Tales of the Jedi had great writing in it. Mandalorian is good. I like Book of Boba Fett. I know that one kind of flopped with some. Uh, Star Wars is in the last really from Disney Plus times, except for like two series that people might not enjoy.
Look
It's
who's
really
in
done
charge
good.
of it though now. You've got Dave Filoni, who
Yeah,
is
well, the series, yes, that's why the series are doing so good. So that's why everyone's now terrified that
yeah.
they're planning all the movies again.
Well, isn't he up more in? Like
True.
he's
Yeah,
sort of
he's over a lot of
Yeah.
stuff. So I
yeah.
mean, we don't know what he would be doing with the movies, but hopefully,
True.
if he has
Well,
a hand in all the pies, they would make a lot of
Yeah.
better
he
dessert.
he's involved in part of it, but I don't think he's involved much in this series. If I understood.
And Andor,
And
yeah, he
yeah.
might be like, have some part,
That's why
but
I'm
yeah,
just saying he's above a lot of stuff.
oh yeah,
He,
he's
he
over a
has
lot of things. Yeah.
he has a lot of not control, but maybe final say in a lot of stuff. And
Well, I think he's like his role is like head
story or something.
story. Yeah, so he
Well,
does.
he
I'll
probably
look it up.
was the part of George Lucas where George
Right.
Lucas would kind of
Where
give
you
like
have to
a
go to him to get approval
gives an
or
an
get
okay
final.
or yeah. This is Star Warsy enough. This will work. This fits canon. This is yeah. That's
Yeah.
Which
all
is
right.
part of the reason I think that it's doing so well, because he is taking over instead of them having just kind of like, we'll do a little bit of it and we'll come to George, because for a little bit there they barely went to him for stuff.
It's just crazy that we have a show that's and not really anything Star Wars, but
Yeah.
it's not. It still works because you could literally take the Star Wars part out of it. You could anybody has nothing known anything about Star Wars could watch the show without.
Oh, yeah.
It is a really good show. I'm loving the human aspect, the life lived in aspect. I know we talked about that a lot, but you see it more and more with every episode.
Every episode you get this like awesome little just snippets of everyday, slice of life kind of stuff. It's really nice.
I love the bombshell of Mon Mothma's cousin.
Oh, is Val? Yeah, that was a nice one.
Like
She kind of did hint it. She was talking about she's related to somebody wealthy and stuff like that. She mentioned.
I didn't put it together when she just shows up. I'm like, wait, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, I love how much she hates her husband, and I just hope she stabs him in the throat.
I love the little like banter of why aren't you married yet? You're gonna be an old lady, and she's like, oh, I wish I could kill you. Drinking her drink.
Like it feels like at least the standard in like their society too is because she's not too open about a relationship. I'm
Right.
guessing it's not as open, at least maybe on Coruscant or.
I could definitely see that, or maybe it's like arranged marriage type things, kind of like with Mon.
Yeah.
Or like
Yeah.
encouraging to, especially if you're in a wealthier family, to
Well,
marry young. And...
See, that's what I thought it
They
was
seem
because
to
with Mon
keep
and
it
her,
a secret.
Yeah.
With Cassian too, though, because they didn't really tell Cassian at all.
It could be. It may be something with the Empire or something in the later into the Republic. It started to become less.
I could see that with the Empire. They
Oh,
don't
yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
non-humans, so I mean,
Oh no, yeah, they're full fascists. Of course, they're not going to let people be same-sex marriage.
This can further our agenda in any
Too
way.
much happiness, make
No.
more people.
Yep.
it would make sense. And like I said, the way she's even, yeah, she never mentions it ever, and it almost seems like they're always sneaking around when they actually do. So yeah, I guess it might be illegal. They just never openly said
And
it.
at the same time, you also don't. And I'm sure casting would have been like, that's a huge risk. Why would you bring someone you love on a job? And so they also probably might have showed him because they knew, like, oh well, people don't like us to do this in front of them because we're trying to be here for a job, not each other. Yeah. And I mean, like, because that's what Sintra was always saying. She was always like, no, the rebellion comes first. This relationship is not the most important thing to me.
Right.
Well, it's funny, yeah. Her partner, I can't think of her name.
Sintra.
Is way more into it. She's super serious about.
Oh yeah, she's right. She's right or die, 100%. She's here to take down the Empire.
And then the leader of the group, and also Mon Mothma's cousin, she's been questioning a lot. And you see that like she didn't really like the idea of killing Cassian.
Yeah.
She didn't like what's been happening. She didn't like the whole approach of bringing the Empire's script down to cause more resistance. She didn't like that idea. So she doesn't have the stomach for it, but I guess it's just her connections that got her in that position. So
Yeah. But I know Luthen and Cassian, I feel like they're going to just go and do some more crazy stuff together. Like old Duke Boys style. They're just going to like go off and they're going to probably just do some crazy stuff after he escapes, which will then lead into the finale.
And I
We
know
did
he's
learn-
not as important, but I kind of want to know who that pilot was that they got. It's probably just throwaway character, but the pilot they were talking that they caught.
Yeah.
oh, I think he's one of what's his name's what's his the guy the
Luthen?
no the guerrilla warfare guy.
Saw.
They didn't
Saw. I
say
think he's-
Saw.
I think he's
Saw
one of
Gerrera.
Saul's pilots.
Who did they say?
I don't
wanna
know.
look-
I
I'm
don't
gonna-
know.
I need to figure that out. I'll find it out later.
I know that we're about to also
This is your
see
new
this-
glove shido.
Probably.
This
It's
is
the
my wife's new
random-
favorite glove shido.
Well, the guy, the pilot wouldn't talk, and that was the thing is,
Yeah.
and that sounds like somebody that would work for Saul wouldn't say anything,
Right.
Because he's so
Would just
hardcore.
happily die.
He'd be like,
Because he
He's
knows
like,
if he says
Saul would
anything,
probably
that Saul
kill
will.
me anyways.
Oh, dude. That's I think that's the one thing that has him above everybody else. in
Saul
the
will kill me
rebellion.
way worse than the Empire will. Saul's gonna feed me to that weird brain select thing.
Yup.
and then he's got that one hardcore pilot dude that's also in Rogue One. I can't remember that guy's the cool rebreather mask.
Yeah, like almost has a Keldor vibe to him. It's really
Yeah,
awesome.
he's got the
we saw him in that episode with Saul. He
He's
was-
got
I
the
was like,
X-wing
"Oh, look,
before the
it's him."
X-wings are cool.
Right, exactly.
And then they have well, we're about to see a major character because they spoke about Saul Guerrero mentioned him, and
Yeah.
I've looked up his name. He's a newer character. I can't remember his name right now. And so we're gonna expect to see them because they want to get him involved. Can't think of his name right now.
Do you think this next episode is going to consist mostly of the prison break, or it'll be like a half and half? I think if they make it mostly the prison break, it'll be the best way because then it'll be able to focus on it.
Yeah, I
and
think
it's
we're gonna
happening.
see something similar we did with the what they do with the garrison.
Okay.
So mostly focus. They'll probably do a little trickle at the beginning, going back and forth.
Mhm.
But once it starts, they'll probably focus on that.
Okay, it's a good idea.
I still think they have to get the other characters to catch up. So maybe like the first part of it will be them being like, "Oh, he's on this prison planet," or like the Empire, the ISB agent Deidre finds out, "Oh, he's in this prison. Let's go get him." And then the maybe
So you
What's
think
her-
like
Vel?
everyone's gonna just converge
Oh,
on
it's gonna
Cassian,
yeah.
and it's gonna turn into a ballroom blitz?
That's kind of where I'm thinking this is going. And maybe it could even be finale type thing.
Yeah, true.
Like it could be
Well-
a while before he even gets.
Well, as
to
it
the-
I hope not.
escalates, as
I
thing
don't want him
escalates,
to
though, and
spend-
he catches
How many more episodes
catches
do we
more-
have?
We're on. what are we on?
I don't know.
it. Not that was 9. So I think
Oh.
we only have.
So, yeah, we have
So
three
we
more
only-
episodes.
okay. Oh.
So it really
you're
could
right,
be
you're
finale
right.
level thing.
Yeah.
Well, that was the
boo.
idea. Is after this one, there's supposed to be 2 episodes. That
Oh,
are
that's
like,
correct.
'cause
Yeah, so it's
like
a
in
3-arc
sequences.
thing.
Yeah.
So this is the
Yeah.
last of the third, and the 2 are supposed to be completely separate. So I think he should get out this episode.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with this episode.
Okay.
It would make sense, and then like it's leading up, and this is going to probably escalate more and more. And then it would make sense
Mhm.
that somebody higher up is going to catch their attention. You know, we already
Yeah.
got somebody. You got a colonel's attention from the garrison, so the prison break. You know, we may get somebody higher up involved, like I said, Thrawn at the very end.
Yeah.
I could
Oh, that'd be so
see
cool.
the next episode is the build up, is the planning, is the other people finding out where Cassian is and then going to the planet. And then the next episode after that is going to be the prison break. And then the final episode is the conclusion and anything that they need to wrap up. And then whoever big wig they
What
bring in.
episode? What episode did he get arrested? Was that 6 or
Yeah.
7?
Yes.
It was probably 7.
It was 6.
6 or 7.
Because 7
Yeah.
was him being introduced to
1,
the
2.
prison, and because he was arrested at the very end.
It was 7, I believe.
Yeah, it was 7.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
because it was in 3s. It was the 3 intro, and then the 3 with the heist,
Because, yeah, 6
That
was the
was-
heist.
and then we had one episode that was separate, and that was him basically going to that planet. So
Oh,
yeah,
79. Yeah, so it was 7. Yeah, my bad.
so yeah, I think we it's either gonna be this episode or the episode
Mhm.
after. Well, definitely. So
All I know is, that's what we heard, is that the last 2 episodes will be something different. So I don't think it's gonna be. But we shall see. Regardless, the show has been proving to have amazing writing and been really enjoyable. So I'll stick
got-
around for the ride regardless.
We got a in the universe easy prop to make for a suitcase if you ever want to
Yeah.
do a Star Wars suitcase, which is a cooler. That's what her. If you pay attention to her suitcase, it's a cooler.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
I love that kind of stuff. And then, ice cream maker for that one Woodrow Wilson character. Um, but no, I think Star Wars is going to do a lot better now that they can kind of tell what we do like again with the writing people. Put Dave Filoni on anything and I'll watch it. I'm down for
I think
that. But at the same time, I don't want the man to be like
I-
so stressed out he turns into another George Lucas
Right.
and doesn't want anything to do with Star Wars because toxic fans are toxic.
That's why I think he's just in like a final say kind of position.
Yeah.
Like he has his projects he works on, and then he'll be like, yes, this works. No, this doesn't work. Fix it like this, or take it to do something else.
Mm-hmm.
And if it works, like this show, he doesn't have to be ahead of it. I mean, this proves that they can still make good content. We just
Yeah. I mean,
hopefully
I'm
they can.
so excited for the Acolyte. They just announced that
I know, I'm
the
so
young girl that
excited.
plays
X23.
that played X23 is going to be in the Acolyte.
X23
Yeah,
is my
The female
favorite
it's an all female cast mostly so far that I've seen. It looks really good.
I mean, things are
Maybe
gonna be
Night
going
Sisters.
great. We got this, and I don't see Bad Batch can going bad. So
Yeah.
and we
I
get
just
Tales
got-
of the Jedi. So we're on this high. So they better keep it going.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, because the big of course that everyone's talking about is is of course the movies that are slated for like the 2025-ish
Yeah.
release, and the fact that it will be sequel characters.
How do we feel about this?
They can make it great.
Okay.
If they have good writing, they could give us exactly all we need to make Rey and Finn and all those exactly what we wanted them to be. And what I mean by we wanted them to be is just better in a way.
Yeah.
Of course, Rey goes through more training for some, and then Finn is definitely a Jedi. God damn it! Like just things like they're just. I'm not saying rewrite everything. Just they're put the things like say the things you said in the comics that made the story really amazing.
New
that are,
solid villain, by the way. That's not
those
the
of you
same villain.
watching, read the comics or go read or listen to my videos about them because the comics make the sequels way better.
They make things make a lot more sense.
So much more sense because they actually fill out everything that they for some reason rushed and wouldn't talk about. And it shouldn't take comics for that, but alas, here we are. It's good though. The sequel has its merits, and I am fine with a new series about it. Just have good writing, have good plot. Palpatine's dead. He's gone. If I
keep
see him
the same
again, I'm
Yeah.
done with it.
Keep the same
But-
story. Don't change it, or like at least make it look like somebody didn't change it multiple
Yeah.
times. And yes, don't reuse Palpatine.
And I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what anyone says. It's personal. Go away, Ryan Johnson. Go away.
No, and the reason I asked what we think about it is because I remember we were saying if we ever get more movies, don't have it connected in any way.
Yeah.
But now we have a potential to
Yeah.
have it connected. So that's kind of where I'm going. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of saw it coming with
yeah,
kind of how things are. So that's also the problem that I have with Andor, and it's not the Andor itself. It's just that in the end, their
Mhm.
business. They're going to see the numbers that
Yeah.
Andor is not as good as the others, and that's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of they're like this style is not working for us. We can go back to what works. More Tatooine, more Sidious, more the
no
same.
more cities.
Yeah, no more cities.
Sidious.
It's cool,
We're gonna-
man. Hey,
Sidious,
We're
Sidious is
done.
like a
yeah.
hidden.
He brought the
Hide
idea
out
of an
on
infinite
Tatooine.
Sith back. This could entirely take care of the rule of two, and the new series could have this explosive exploratory era of Star Wars exploring the dark side and the light side and it melding and finding itself again. The Acolytes of the Beyond, so many Force cults. There are so many amazing things to pull from and to take from
Yeah.
that we don't have to regurgitate anything. Let someone loose. I had a little fun idea today. Imagine if they just said, "Hey fans, send us in scripts." They would get literally billions of scripts, and from that, chimpanzees in a typing room. Eventually, something good would come out of it, and you could just cut and paste it and just take it all out.
I mean,
and
they
make
get those AIs now that will write
Yeah.
stories now.
make a painting. They'll make the poster for it and everything. But
I think going directly after is a bad idea. I think if they want to keep the same characters, I think there needs to at least be a decent time jump.
Yes. But thankfully there's been enough of a time jump too that where I know their names. John Boyega and Ray. I know Daisy. Yes, Daisy Ridley. I wanted to say it, but I was okay. But they have matured enough, and just like with Anakin, they deserve so much more love from the community. And I think they'll get it in a return, and that'll make them, I think, read the lines better, perform better, want the character to be better, and stand up for the character more. I hope, because that's another big thing. Is that stand up for this character and the idea of Rey and the idea of Finn, the idea of Poe, because their character designs were brilliant. I loved The Force Awakens. I thought, here we go. It was a rehash of A New Hope. It's the hero story. Their hero story has been rehashed a bajillion times.
And it will continue to be.
For time immemorial.
Well, it did a great job setting up for
Immemorial.
the sequels. It was great, a launch, a great new beginning.
Yes.
It's just that it just kind of plateaued and then kind of went down and in certain ways, went up certain ways. Like I said, it felt like it was written like they had different writers that kept changing them out really quickly. So it felt like multiple voices trying to tell the same story, but like one of their own.
A game of telephone, a game of telephone never goes good. It's always hilarious and it always ends badly. And we all laugh at it and we move on. So now we're going to move on, and this time we're going to pull out our nice, lovely webcams and cell phones, and we're all going to video chat instead of trying to play phone tag.
I mean,
and we're going to make a good movie.
The studios have got a lot of practice with all these shows coming out, and they've been pretty good. So
they have.
Hopefully, now they got more experience with the newer Star Wars, they can do well with the new sequels.
They have all the new technology that the Mandalorian and the other shows have helped them patent and invent.
What are we gonna call these though? Because we have the prequels, we have the original, and we have the sequels.
Well, that's the thing. This is it.
It's
nothing.
Gonna be standalone.
This is Star Wars Episode 10.
Yeah.
Star Wars X. I don't know what Star Wars something, because it'll have its own title, because this is not the Skywalker saga. That's the freedom of it. That's the beauty in it, is that you can just.
It's the Sidious saga. Because she's related to him.
Yeah. Skywalker Saga Part 2.
She's not a Skywalker. She's a Sidious.
You can change your name.
Palpatine Saga.
I mean, she did
everyone people can change their names. It's Star Wars. Some people have a bad family history, man. And they get adopted by another family. It happens. The Skywalkers are 100% the people who would adopt a random strange girl off the street.
I guess that would be a good spit in the face to Palpatine, though, that his own blood is basically the hero now, and
the thing he hates the most, the
light side of the Force.
One of them threw me down a damn hole. The other one blasted me into pieces.
I love the idea though of you were Palpatine's granddaughter. Well, okay, come here, little one. We'll guide you.
We're gonna call you a Skywalker now. Don't. We're gonna kill him. We're gonna kill his name. We're gonna know everything about him. We're gonna move on.
Force ghosts just being like, we're gonna go this way.
Yeah, they could redeem so much missed opportunities and so many things if they allow more Force Ghost stuff. We don't have to lose Ben Solo. He could be a very active role in Rey's tutelage and harmony with the Force. And we could explore more about the Prime Jedi and the really cool old lore.
Well, the good thing also about Force Ghosts is we could also bring back Obi-Wan, because they and they redid Obi-Wan's Force Ghosts as the younger actor, and we still have him, so we could bring him back to be a Force Ghost if we really wanted to.
It'd be really cool just to see him, just like kind of exactly how we did Qui-Gon, just at the end of something or like right around, just a quick little blurb of him.
We should get
so happy.
Qui-Gon as a ghost. That'd be awesome.
Oh yeah, I would just. Because I mean, hey, there we go. Rey's like, so I can learn from Jedi who remember the old days, and he'd be like, I'm not gonna teach you like a normal Jedi.
It's gonna end up being like the Avatar, but
you need to follow the Force.
The lines of the Star Wars, the Jedi Masters, like the Avatar.
Well, and this will work out really well too, I think, because with the idea of Rey hopefully being more closer to mid or outer rim, the New Republic is still very small at this time. So if the New Republic isn't growing as
As
big,
Skywalker.
then she can be entirely separated, and there are no politics at all involved in the new Skywalker order. If that's like if they call them the Skywalkers. Yes, the Chiss Skywalker. Yeah, the Chiss are also Skywalkers. That's always a really cool thing. Which are only females. But this awesome new order of Force users though isn't connected to a Republic, which hopefully lasts forever, because that's always been the bane of the Order. And like even if you want to go into the creation of the Sith, if you go through like the Old Republic and like Dawn of the Jedi stuff, it was outside forces came in and caused a huge schism and a huge rift.
Yeah.
These were just monks though, but they understood Ashla and Bogan, light side, dark side. I mean, there was so much to the Force that they've kind of lost, it seems like.
Well, maybe because we see a little bit with the old temples and stuff, and the sequels. Maybe she will start to pursue the ancient temples,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe the new villains involved with ancient Sith.
I mean, because we've seen it before, though. There are 100% a chance that honestly the mask from
Oh yeah, from
Tales of the Jedi that
Jedi.
could be the role. They've kind of played into this a lot lately in comics, in shows. They've now thrown these masks around, these
Yeah.
Sith masks. I 100% think that Inquisitor was possessed by that mask, much like Viceroy Panchard from Shadow of the Sith book and Lord Momin from the Darth Vader comics. They just keep hinting at these possessed Sith masks, allowing these ancient Sith to return. So I'm thinking we're gonna maybe get to see some very old ancient Sith return through possession or something
Sidious.
like that.
I think the mask is coming
Gotta
back.
Reach through the computer.
I think it's gonna come back in the Ahsoka series.
You think?
At
The
least
whole
a blip of it.
The
like
mask,
either
it's now hunting her down, like you killed me.
Yes.
So do you think that's going to be
Where's
the
my
antagonist?
big toe?
Who do you think they'll do the antagonists of the new sequels?
Maybe some other force, or some Sith that are taking over, or bloom like starting to explore everything,
Mm-hmm.
get some power, or could be like
Yeah.
some outside force from
I would like
random
to
part of
see
the galaxy.
like he's saying.
Yeah,
you know,
Dyad
we
here.
saw
Pep's
it
bringing up some
starts
good
at the
points.
beginning. The prequels start with the fall of the Republic. I
Mhm.
like to see kind of the the
Glory.
kind of the end of the new Republic kind of being
Taking
a new
off.
thing.
Yeah, yeah. Being
But then,
pure and literally about
as-
like the prosperity of people. It's a renaissance
as they
now.
take off, they actually bump into a new, the new
Of course, yeah.
bad guys.
Some
gonna have to
far
be-
off. I mean, like the Nihil for the High Republic, the New Republic will probably have to deal with a very large Hutt or some other gang presence.
or the
Black
Yuuzhan
Sun,
Vong.
Chiss.
That's who I'd
the
like-
Chiss. Yeah, it could be the Chiss.
That's what I'd
could
like to
tie
see is
in
the Yuuzhan Vong would be awesome. Because that was
Thrawn
Legends.
and Ezra.
Yeah,
Could be something with them.
because that's the one thing is that whole section of space hasn't really been explored, so that's where they could go to completely be new and free, which I would not complain about at all. It would be really awesome to bring more Chiss into it. The Chiss I love Chiss culture. Reading through the Thrawn books was fascinating. But there's definitely going to be the Hutts are also going to be a big problem. The New Republic is probably like toe to toe trying to take space with the Hutts. The Hutts have to be grabbing stuff.
Give them,
Any
chance
crime
to
group.
expand.
Well, any crime, the Pikes, I mean, all of them, but
Yeah.
the Hutts are on a whole other level.
Oh yeah, no.
Well, I would like to see. That'd be great to see, like the first movie. They're struggling against the Hutts and other
Mhm.
crimes, and they're starting to try to grab, planets and galaxies.
Yeah.
I would love, but like I said, I'd like to see this kind of overarching threat that maybe you get to see at the end of the movie. Like I said, I'd like to see I don't know if you know much about this. Is a bit older, in the Legends, but it was Yuuzhan Vong.
Oh yeah.
That'd be cool. An entity like that.
The Force doesn't really work on them that much, and they're very fucking gross.
Yeah. Well,
it's gonna be really hard to put into movies. I'm gonna attach this leech snake scepter to your face. It's gonna rip
feel
your
like they
nose
need
off.
more
I'm gonna like
horror.
peel your skin off and mutate you.
If they
Well,
think acting like
they're
that's okay,
all
maybe
ugly
like
as
branch
heck
into the
too.
Yeah.
horror aspect of stuff.
They're like the Xenobites of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're
what were the race, the plant one?
the Drenger.
Yes. If they did
The Drenger.
anything with like on screen with the Drenger, they could really do a dark horror type
Yeah.
of stuff with that.
But I mean,
too.
yeah, the Yuzong Vong would be awesome if they want to bring in something really dark and
Well,
ominous.
they don't have to like do it. You know, they changed things already.
True.
They could alter it and make it a little better for the screen.
I mean, hey, it could be the Yuzong Vong are led by Darth Krayt. They could like change it up that way so we get Darth Talon that way. And then Darth Krayt leading with Darth Talon brings them the Yuzong Vong that he's in charge of.
Without
I don't
the
think
Empire
I know a single man
to
that doesn't want Darth Talon to show up.
Everybody knows that Darth Talon has really pivotal plot lines.
I don't-
Huge
well,
tracts of land.
I know Andor's kind of reached a little bit in the adult realm, so maybe.
Yes. Yeah, we have gotten a sex scene. we know a sex mention. Yeah, so these guys did it.
We're slowly building there.
Yeah.
By 2030, you know.
Yeah, so Darth Talon's the way to be
We'll
like,
see.
whoa.
We'll see some Star Wars cleavage. I mean, we kind of already have.
we need more people. How do we
Hey,
do this?
like Carrie Fisher always said, it's not fair because George Lucas told her no one wears panties and bras in space.
I think that was just for her. It's probably
Yeah. Oh, I always love it. My favorite joke she ever said was she would put like electrical tape over it, so at the end of the shooting she'd be like, "All right, boys, who's taking the tape off?"
And no bras in space, but here's this metal bikini.
Yeah, here's a metal bikini.
Yeah.
And then, see, then that's the thing where like the originals. Of course, a lot of people say that the originals are the best ever. Empire Strikes Back is the best movie of all time. Not to me. I love Empire Strikes Back, but I like all of Star Wars in a weird way that changes also every single week. Which one I'm more infatuated with at that said moment. But
What did you read this week? Oh, okay. That's
yeah,
what you
right.
read.
Like right now, I'm more Return of the Jedi just because I'm really big on Luke because of the Skywalker stuff in the comics and the Shadow of the Sith book. But the original trilogy still has its flaws. It was clunky in degrees. Oh my
heavily.
god! And I couldn't imagine watching the original release. I would have hated it. There's so little on that screen. There's not much there at all. I'm so happy I got like re-released digitally before I really started like hardcore watching them. It was a absolute blessing for me that I was able to live in a time when technology had advanced that much because it made Star Wars way better.
Well, things are also a lot different too, because a lot of things that made Star Wars happy for people. There's a lot of nostalgia with the old serials and
Yeah.
the old westerns. So there's a lot of kind of nostalgia with that. So, and we don't have that kind of connection that they did, and also it was just so mesmerizing back then for us.
Mhm.
It's, you know, it's
And
not
that's kind
as
of a point
impressive.
I had just thought of too, but that's a big thing to me is now we are in a new era. In the beginning of Star Wars, the original era, you had to have good story and you had to rely on amazing writing because that's what you had. Like you didn't have
Yes.
all in the 2000s, we had Transformers movies and explosions and everything was about how action packed can it be? How much can you put on screen? What can you show? What can you blow up? What can you invent? What can you make? But we're past that now. And now we're in a
Clone
world
Wars.
yeah. And now we're in a world where they're like, okay, what if we have these amazing studios that we can bring everything to life so we can make the actors so immersed that they forget that they're even acting anymore? Like, what if we bring out the best of both worlds? And we're getting to finally see that. And that's why I think Star Wars is going to do really well. The sequel trilogy suffered because it was at the very beginning of the transitional period when people were still very much lightsaber goes burr, the hot girl is sidekick, dude bro main lead.
You need to have
People-
the
a lot
best
of people-
CGI. It needs to
Yeah, it
look
needs to be
perfect.
CGI, it needs to blow up, things need to be crazy, and I want cameos.
We had a lot of people that jumped in with episode 3,
Yeah.
and they were huge fans of episode 3, so
Mhm.
they were expecting more of that,
Yep.
and we kind of
Which
got
doesn't
more
work
of
when
that.
you're having a little war start and or
Mhm.
finish it and start in the same.
Brings
vein.
up a good point. I think if you could like interview Star Wars fans, you could tell a good percentage of them that watched the originals for a good few years before the prequels came out. Like again, just thankfully born just enough before the prequels came out to watch the originals enough. Then when there are those who watch the prequels first and fell in love with Star Wars that way, and they expect Star Wars to be very different.
And then now you can get the ones who are starting with Andor or Mandalorian.
And the sequels. And they expect Star Wars to also be extremely different. I know a lot of people, especially on the TikTok community side, that started watching Star Wars because of the sequels, which blew my mind. I was like,
I know a few who started because of Mandalorian, which is even
Mandalorian
more of something that you have like no idea what a lot of this stuff is.
Yeah.
But you're learning it secondhand.
Mm-hmm.
So I
With that, and some of them got the Disney Plus subscription, and they're for like Disney movies, and they're like, oh, what is this? And they click on it, and they're like, oh, this is cool.
And that's something I'll give Disney. They have brought a lot more eyes to Star Wars, which means really cool things like, oh my gosh, Mike, have you seen the Darth Malak and Bastila Shan Black Series figures?
Yeah.
Oh, like that's the thing. Like as much as people want to complain, like, oh my god, they're making Star Wars for the casual
removable
person.
Mask. Too.
Yeah, I know it opens up.
Awesome.
Or like, oh my god, Modern Warfare was made slow, and I can't do Skippy Dodge because it was made for a casual player. They're like, oh my god, Star Wars is being made for the casual fan. I'm like, well, yeah, but you know what that means?
Andor's not.
Yeah, Andor's not. And Andor's pretty gritty. But to me, it's the way of like, but imagine with all these more casual fans, they become sweaty as time goes on, and then they give us more good things. We get Old Republic.
That's what I hate. Gatekeeping is never,
No, gatekeeping
you could
is
say
dumb.
You could say you dislike something, but don't shut someone out because they like, they still like Star Wars. I mean, they may like, the sequels the most. It doesn't mean they're not a Star Wars fan. It means they are a Star Wars fan. You can't, can't tell them they're not just because they like something a bit different. Because to be a Star Wars fan, you like Star Wars. But yeah, adding more and more to the fandom is just going to give us more because they're gonna, at the end, Disney was gonna want their money.
Oh, 100%.
Bottom line. So they got a business they gotta do.
Yes, they have to.
They don't care. They don't care if they make a small group of diehard fans happy. At the end, they want to get as many Disney Plus subscriptions as they can.
Yes, but that will at least drive them to make things that people like, and I'm gonna like those things.
Bigger budget, the better they'll concentrate, or the more views, the more like, hey, we got something here. Let's keep on it. Let's use this. Let's get this training rolling. And so, I mean, that's what we've seen. We've seen.
I love that. Dyad. We were all filthy casuals when Star Wars came out. Yeah, we didn't. No one. You don't know what anything is till you first see it.
And even then, it's like back then you were also an outcast for liking Star Wars.
So
now it's a lot more easier to say you like Star Wars around people.
Yeah, because now some of the most famous people in the world are like, dude, I'm a huge Star Wars nerd. They dress up in their robes, swing their extendable lightsaber at Walmart for $7.99 around, and then they have a great time. Because no matter what, that's still fun. I mean, it's intrusive. Even like I get my literal 1-year-old. You give him a lightsaber, you turn it on, he goes, wee.
I have a captain in the army that I was in a unit with. I remember going to his office. He had like one little Star Wars thing. Now I had him on Facebook when I got out, and he's making. He's got a Mandalorian helmet.
Oh yeah.
He's got all these like stuff. He's got this whole room full of Star Wars stuff now. It's so funny to see that. And
it's gonna be bad when I get a 3D printer. I'm gonna make so much stuff. Oh, good. It's gonna be unholy. I'm gonna be swimming in Star Wars greeblies. Yes. But no, I think everything's gonna be okay. I really do. I think things are gonna be much better now. They just have to conducive story for the sequel characters to give them the honor and respect they deserve, like every other story in every other franchise ever. You need a good, thought out story. Who cares if it takes longer? That's like what video games are starting to realize again. We don't care if it takes longer. Just make it good.
Well, a lot of the better shows now are coming out are long series that are way longer than movies now.
Oh yeah.
Hour-long shows that 10 episodes long. So
which is so weird to me that people used to love going movies over watching a show because they thought they got more in a movie, but you don't. You get more in one setting. but you get way more out of a series.
Especially without commercials.
Yes.
Well, and a lot of these series too, they're putting more money in it than movies are. Because that was the
Oh,
other thing
yeah.
is movies, you get to
What
see
was
the
the
top of
budget
the
on
line
How to Train Your
actors, the
House of the
best
Dragon?
special effects. But now we're heck, Andor is some of the best stage. The
Lord of the
the
Rings is
most
spending how
beautiful.
many millions per episode?
Dude. House of the Dragon, Lord of the Rings, like, and then if you compare how much each one of those are spending versus how much they spent on the original trilogy for Lord of the Rings, it's crazy. So it's just been a wild ride, like watching how things are
I'll
changing.
take a sequel era Disney Plus show that is like Rings of Power, slated for 5 seasons.
Oh,
Down.
I would
Down.
love it.
Jedi or Finn or just like the Resistance keeping things controlled out in the Outer Rim while the New Republic works and builds up its renaissance of. I mean, because they literally have to move to a new planet. There's not even a planet for the Republic like capital now. Are they back on Coruscant? I don't think so.
No.
Coruscant is like
I said, movies are starting to go out of date now. Nobody's going to theaters anymore. Nobody's watching movies. Everybody's watching series. So
yeah, because
we
I
may
can
not
do it
see.
on my couch
Yeah.
with my baby. Like I can't go to the theater.
Also, it's way cooler to be like the anticipation that you feel when you know, like, oh, any second this episode's gonna end. This episode's gonna end. You check the time, like, oh, there's still like 15 minutes left. Oh, okay. Like that doesn't happen with a movie.
What's also great with the series like that is because when you watch a movie like this, like when the sequels come out or the Star Wars movies, you gotta wait years for the next movie.
Yeah.
But with a 10-episode season like the Andor,
just one more week.
We just gotta wait a week, and we get
week.
enough content and a lot of story, and it's no longer your condensed a story that was meant to be so broad.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna take little parts of it because we only have an hour, maybe 2 hours to tell the story. Now we have 10 hours to tell the story.
It's so much more brilliant, and that allows writers more freedom. And again, maybe this will help. We have a nice writers pool that's just been working together on Star Wars, on all these series, to really help the writing team with the movies and with these newer things that are going to be pretty much the future of Star Wars. I need to see Broomstick Boy training with Rey. That's one of my big things. I've got to see that kid training with Rey because that was the one thing in that whole movie that I was like,
they ended
I love
on that.
that.
Like what?
Yeah.
They ended on that, and I went, that's the part I like.
I think it also, the series having something more spread out makes it more personable, makes it more connected.
I was also very angry though at that exact moment. So now I like far more parts of that movie. But at the end of watching it the first time, I was like, Broomstick Boy is the only thing I care about.
But it being able to tie in more things, like eating cereal.
Yeah.
Like
or berries.
I love this scene. I mean, it's been mentioned a lot with the new episode where his mom's nagging at him. He just slurps the cereal so loud.
And we've all done it. To someone in our life, we'd be like, "Shut up."
I kind of hate how they're setting it up to where he's either gonna kill her or do something with that, like relate something to her where she needs to get taken away. Yeah. I don't know. I don't like how they're setting this up.
She's such a good actress at what she does, and I hate it so much.
Yeah, the both of them. She's like, you just feel like you're in his shoes. You're like, oh my god, just shut up, please. But then when you see him, you're like, oh my god, also you shut up.
Right?
It's a whole family of people. You're just like, go away. Amazing acting. Because to really have that visceral of a feeling, you have to be a great actor.
Yeah, this is. I said. At first, I was kind of on the verge of saying this is one of my favorite show so far.
I can say
at
that,
least series. Yeah, now I'm gonna have to say, this is definitely my favorite series so far.
Yes, I would definitely put it on as my
I didn't want to put it over Clone Wars, but I think I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, Clone Wars is amazing for what it is, but yeah, this as for what it is for Star Wars for a show, this Andor is just good. It's just good. And who knows? I hope Acolyte can take that from me. I hope Acolyte is 10 episodes, 5 seasons, hour-long each episode.
Didn't they put the link to the episode? How many episodes there were? I thought they did.
I don't think they've even started filming it yet.
No, I don't think I don't know.
They're still announcing casts. So.
Yeah, I mean,
they should at least they'll know what they're going to write at least. So they should at least know how many episodes. I don't think they announced.
Very different.
I don't think they've announced too much on Acolyte yet, or like Skeleton Crew.
So I know we got Well, I know there's supposed to be 16 episodes for Bad Batch 2.
Awesome.
I don't think I got one for Ahsoka.
Bad
I don't
Batch
think
2
they
is
said
what?
that.
Is that also in February?
They got bumped back, so don't know.
Let's see. Let's just exit.
January 4th was the original newer date announced at the expo, so I don't know if it's changed
Oh, yeah.
since then.
We'll end this with some release date talk.
Oh, also, serving the tank.
Yeah, hopefully it's not gonna take too long because
True.
we got so much good content right now
So
with
much
Star
good
Wars.
content.
I'd hate to see it go.
So, thank you for reminding me. Before we get into further wrapping up, though, we will be announcing that the show is actually going to be moving an hour back. Not to the crazy, just from 5 to 6. Since I get off work at 5 with a few more responsibilities I've picked up now.
Also, it's just gonna work better. I think
it'll work
time-wise.
better, so a few more people can also be off work to help watch it and not be so crazy. Yeah, we're going to be moving the show back to 6 p.m. Friday Central Standard Time from here on out. So after this episode, next week will be 6 p.m. from here on out, just to help with everyone who get off work and a little bit later in the day, so not so much rushing. It'll help me also have more time to announce things on TikTok, hang out with everyone beforehand, because that's a big thing I want to get back into doing. So again, Andor's been awesome. The comics have been brilliant. The Visions comic was stellar. I have a review of that up. I also have a review coming up for the Tales of the Jedi mask. My full explanation on how I think this is a Sith Lord inside possession. I got a few other exciting things come up. I have a few hot takes on Windu I'd like to share with the world, and then.
You doing that on TikTok?
Oh, I'm gonna be sharing
On
my.
everywhere.
Well, I'm gonna be talking about Windu everywhere. I'm not scared of that bad mother. Shut your mouth.
That'd be so funny if he shows up as a Force ghost for Rey.
Yeah, teaches her a lot. And hey, good
There
job,
are
Windu.
lessons you
I'm
can't
happy
teach.
Windu can teach somebody.
Yeah.
Wow, Windu can be a mentor. First time in his life. So
Beautiful binary
everybody.
sunset.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. It was a lot of fun. I had a great time this time. Let us know down in the comments if you have anything in particular you'd like us to talk about. If you ever hear about anything crazy release-wise, just let us know. So if we don't hear about it ourselves, it'll give us something fun to just bring up randomly. Thank you so much for those in the comments. We had Random, whose message was redacted, but hey, Random, I see you. And then, of course, Diet and the Forest Pep, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Again, from now on, Friday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, will be the House of Holocrons podcast on Ducks and Download channel, and then uploaded afterwards onto the same Ducks and Download Spotify. Oh, no, the House of Holocrons, sorry, I apologize. The House of Holocrons channel is the name for the Spotify and the Anchor. So again, Star Wars is in good hands. I think we're going to be far better from here on out. So may the Force serve you well.
May the Force be with you.
All right. Let's make sure. Let's wait to end the stream. Wait to end the stream.
Gotta end it early this
Wait to
time.
end the stream. I edited it so early last time.
There.
All right. Yeah.